Okay, Marcus, we live in a world of complexity. Do you think that it's necessary to be multidisciplined to be effective as a commissioning authority, commissioning manager, commissioning engineer?
Yes. And then when I say yes, to the point. When I say yes, it really means, okay, so a lot of folks watching these are going to be like, oh, I got out of college a couple of years ago. Remember, or you're in the trades, right? How big was the future? The future was so big before you actually signed that offer letter, right? It was like, oh, I can do anything, right? And then you realize you took a job and it's like, oh, it's not as big as it was. Well, I tell people all the time, and my favorite buzzwords are always seller doer. Okay, so one that basically means you know how to sell and you know how to do. That's a lot. Management, this business skills, and technical skills. Okay. So the next part, hybrid. I always talk about hybrid. Every time anybody's ever heard me speak, we'll talk about hybrid, right? And I say that is because a lot of us in the industry, older folks in the industry, years ago when you were doing like an architectural drawing, or an engineering drawing, or you were doing like an industrial assessment or an energy audit, or you're doing computer modeling, there wasn't all this business that there is right now that basically just kept you fed with one thing, right? So you did everything. Like, they always say like, go work for a smaller firm so you can learn how to do everything, work for a bigger firm because you can see actually how everything comes together, that kind of thing. But you get out there. So there's two different types of hybrids. One, well, actually, you know what? The path. Remember that little path? Not the Myers-Briggs, but they say you're either management.
Yeah.
You're either going to be in sales, you're going to be in technical, and then there's one more I'm missing. But it's just like this path that you choose. And the thing about it is, like, wherever you go work for a firm, like, they should be mentoring you to basically help you to find what it is that you're really good at, but also to teach you all of those, teach you how the money comes in, how it goes out. So hybrid in business, hybrid in sales. So now hybrid in technicality. Like I said, the world is very big when you're in college, and it gets very narrow when you basically get a job. Don't make it narrow. Learn more, right? So I deal a lot with, in my area with commissioning, energy, carbon, controls, optimizations, envelope. And people ask me all the time, my God, how did you get in all this? I'm like, you had to put, food on the table. So you actually had to learn about everything so you can be billable. Well, nowadays, a lot of people don't have that mentality because it's like, here, give me the work, feed me. Right. But it's just, I say to people, and I've said this to you before, like, I can't pay you to do homework. If you write it on your resume and you say that you can do it, you better damn well be able to do it. Right. So hybrid to me in my area is learning all the different areas and how they all come together. Because like you say, Adam, all the time with project management, when you learn how to be a good commissioning project manager and engineering project manager, that's a higher level. That means that you probably have all those technical skills to be able to bring all those people together. And I'll throw that back to you because, I've said all this hybrid stuff, but you're a man of the world. How have you taken this? And you're a hybrid as well. Obviously,
that's very much so. Yeah. So I think, yes, you do need to be right? But that's just multidiscipline. But let's define that a bit. So my background is mechanical engineering, commissioning, right? So that's my deep silo. But I also have to understand how that interacts with electrical, civil, the whole project management structure, right? So you need depth in one discipline, but you need knowledge and a basic level of competence in other disciplines, because buildings today are very complicated, right? Commissioning is arguably Latin for integration of systems and making them work, right? Every system is touched by the structure, the envelope, electrical systems, mechanical systems, right? Control systems. So that final bit of commissioning and functional performance test and IST is about that integration, because really all that matters, does that all work, right? When there's a fire, does a fire alarm come on and the smoke control systems come on, right? That sounds pretty basic, but sitting behind that is a whole multidiscipline set of skills that had to be applied to make that work. So I would say, to answer your question, yes, you need to be multidis, and you need to have a deep skill set in one thing or the other, right? So a great highly skilled electrical engineer could also be a great commissioning person, as long as they understand the other areas, right? The reason you see, in my opinion, the reason you see more mechanical engineers move into commissioning, because mechanical engineering does touch lots of other disciplines, right? If I'm sizing the HVAC system, for example, I'm considering electrical power, I'm considering controls engineering, I'm considering all the interfaces with that air handling unit, right? Whereas, say, the reason I think you see less electrical engineers, data centers notwithstanding, less electrical engineers in commission, is because electrical really is quite contained. It's about bringing power to a piece of equipment. At that point, you're out, right? Here it is. Here's the schedule. Here's a dishboard schedule. See ya. I'll be an electrical engineer again, by the way, if I had to do my time again. Straight line drawings and schedules, right? Sorry, electrical engineers, I'm not dissing you, but boy, I think you've got the best job. So that's, in data centers, they are electrically led because that's what matters, right? But generally, you find more mechanical engineers in. So, but the good ones, I guarantee you, when you experience a very good, competent commissioning person, they understand other disciplines as well. You cannot be monodiscipline and be effective and successful.
Well, you nailed it on the head there. And one of the interesting ones is a data center, right? So you'll have your mechanical cooling side, then of course you'll have your electrical side. So basically you'll have all your feed, you'll come in, you'll have your ATS, you'll have your gear, your MVPs, your UPSs, your PDUs, right? You're going to split them up, but at the same exact time, the cooling is so important that they're working in tandem all the way together. N+1+2. Remember, N means node. Look it up. Everybody says N, but they don't know what it means, right? So you look it up and you start to say redundancy, resiliency, how it goes, how it works, backup. But remember, though, it sounds I'm going to say it sounds much more complicated than it is. But if you train yourself, and okay, let's just be real. Some of these YouTubes, okay, some of the videos that are out there with, they focus on these areas and they're 5 minute, 10 minute, 15, just like these. They are so uberly helpful. Yeah. And if you just watch them again and again and again and again, you draw and you think and you visualize and you draw again and again. And I'm telling you, like, I geek out on this stuff, right? I could spend days on videos and drawing it out. By the time I get done, I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But the thing is, like, I got it before, but now I really get it. And that's all it takes, is just that spark. And that's what we're trying to do here, is just that spark. And once you light that up, forest fire.
So to wrap this up on a really positive note, there has never been a better time to be a built environment professional, like electrical engineer, mechanic, whatever, controls engineer, commission engineer, because back in the day when I started, I had to get lucky and have a good mentor or have someone around me who I could ask a question of, right? Yeah. Or I had to go to the analog version of Google, which was books on shelves, right?
What's a book?
So I had to be able to find it. Whereas today, you can go on Google and you can go on YouTube and pretty much find the answer to everything you want, right? So even if you're out on site and you've got a good data plan, you can find the answer to something that's troubling you. So there's no excuse to not develop your competence and your knowledge, right? That's how I'd leave it. So do you have to be multi-dis? Yes. Do you have to be deep in one single discipline? Yes. And do you have to take it upon yourself to educate yourself? Yes.
The last thing I'm going to say and this is funny. Anybody that ever known me asked me, they're like, how did you think about reading that or learning that? You know what my response is? How did you not?
Well, that's systems thinking. That's another question. Drawing the links, right, between these things. You can't be like that. You've got to be 180 degree at least.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. That was a good one.